Good afternoon and welcome to the Midday News. Here's what we have in the bulletin. Nurse allegedly beaten by man of unsound mind at Jamaican hospital. 37 Haitians landed on Jamaica's shores on September 9, deported. And later in sports, Jamaica to clash Haiti in Nations League tomorrow. Thank you for joining us. I'm Shamela Pullen. Here are the details. We begin with a developing story. TVJ News understands that nurses at Jamaican Hospital in Clarendon are now locked in a meeting with management. This after a protest at the hospital's entrance this morning against the physical attack of a colleague by a mentally ill man last night. According to reports, the man was taken to the hospital minutes after 10 when he was attacked when he attacked the nurse. The nurse fell while trying to escape. She is now admitted at hospital. The mentally ill man is now a patient at the Jamaican hospital. Head of the St. Elizabeth Police Division, Deputy Superintendent of Police Coleridge Mento says an investigation is underway into the alleged beating of a resident by police. The man told TVJ News he had to seek medical attention. More in this report. Minutes after 7 Saturday evening, Dormant Cole said he went to a gas station in Santa Cruz, St. Elizabeth. Upon leaving, he was stopped by a police officer.
I pull over and stop. He come out. It was only one at the time. He come out. He take out his gun and he said to me, "Where you go?" I said to him, "I go home." He said, "You never see police attack you?" I said, "I never see no officer. I just see now and I pull over." He say, "You know, say I go lock you up." So I say, "For what?" Him say, "You do stunt." I say, "What stunt? What is stunt?" I even to take police. I don't know about what is stunt.
Mr. Cole said the officer then attacked him. He got into his vehicle and drove off, but he was chased to his home.
One of them hold on to my clothes. I try to draw me through the window. And I open the door. When I open the door, the other one used the button, hit my two knee. And I fell on my knee, and he grabbed the button from the other, and tried to hit me in the face, and I break my hand, and he hit me again, and bust my head. So I get 10 stitches here, and my hand is break.
With no immediate medical attention, Mr. Cole said he was taken to the police station, where he was told that he will be charged.
He said he's going to charge me for stunting. I asked him what is stunting. He said he's going to charge me for not complying and resisting arrest and reckless driving and assault. And I never touched neither one of them.
Head of the St. Elizabeth Police Division, Deputy Superintendent Coleridge Mento says he is not aware of the incident but is now investigating the matter. 8 illegal guns were seized Sunday afternoon in Content District, Bohema, St. Anne. Head of the St. Anne Police Division, Senior Superintendent Dwight Powell says the police were conducting a search when several homemade guns and ammunition were seized during the operation.
To a premises that was previously occupied by one Mr. Stennett Peart. So Peart died yesterday from natural causes. During our operation at the premises, one pine trade revolver affixed with 6 live pine trade cartridges and 7 locally manufactured firearms were recovered from the premises. One of these locally manufactured weapons had a 9mm cartridge affixed to it. Just want to assure the residents of St. Anne that we continue to work assiduously to rid our parish of illegal firearms.
36 Haitians who arrived on the island by boat on September 9 have been deported. The government in a release explained that following immigration checks and security vetting, the group was denied entry. It was revealed there were members who had been previously removed from Jamaica for breaches of entry. The government says it's in dialogue with officials in Haiti and arrangements have been made to facilitate the group's safe return. Prime Minister Andrew Holness has ordered a top-level probe into the gun attack on Nationwide News Network in St. Andrew. The revelation was made Sunday, 2 days after the attack on the media entity. Mr. Holness described the attack as dastardly and says the perpetrators must be caught. The Prime Minister addressed the situation while speaking to party supporters in Old Harbour, St. Catherine.
We look at these things with grave concern. And I've asked the Commissioner of Police to thoroughly investigate this matter. It cannot be that in Jamaica today that there could be any violent attack on our press.
No one was injured in the gun attack. However, staff were left traumatized while 3 vehicles were damaged by bullets. In light of the incident, Mr. Holness has issued a charge to JLP members and supporters to be wary of what they say about the media.
We will sometimes express our disapproval, but we are always careful. And as much as this is a commentary, it is also a warning to my political party that we must, as the government, be careful how we act and how we speak in relation to the press and press freedom.
The plan by the government to use money confiscated from criminals to pay the staff of Fraud Hit Stocks and Securities Limited in St. Andrew continues to receive backlash. PNP caretaker candidate for Northern Trelawny Meadows is adamant that public funds should not be used in this instance. He says this is especially with teachers and rank-and-file members of the police force not adequately remunerated. He was speaking at the South St. Andrew Constituency Conference last evening.
We don't care if the money comes from heaven. You have no business using public funds to bail out a fraud company. And I am asking my party, the People's National Party, to remain resolute, to ensure that that move, that decision, that policy must be aborted.
Meanwhile, development economist is reacting to a grant by the United Kingdom government into investigation at SSL. Dr. Chris Stokes was speaking on TVJ Smile Jamaica this morning. The United Kingdom government, through the British High Commission in Jamaica, is providing grant support to the Financial Investigations Division, FID, of just under 10 million Jamaican dollars to assist in the investigation into the alleged fraud at Stocks and Securities Limited, SSL. The announcement was made recently by Finance Minister Dr. Nigel Clark. Development economist Dr. Chris Stokes welcomes the move. He says this is in the country's interest to resolve the issue.
The public mood in Jamaica, and we saw it recently a couple months ago in the United States, is not for private people to benefit when the company is profitable and then the public and the ordinary man pay for it when it fails. That is a non-start. All right, we can't do that again. So the government, I believe, understands this. So the question is, where does the money come from to continue the operation so the folks who with accounts there can continue to be serviced and the investigation can continue?
But Dr. Stokes is of the view that the money may not be enough to complete the investigations. Responding to concerns about the funding, Dr. Stokes says it is not unusual.
These are among the questions. Does it have anything to do with British citizens that may have been affected? Does it have to do with funding this particular company? And, for example, sometimes you get loans, for example, from the Chinese, and part of the condition is that you hire Chinese firms. This is normal.
Yeah.
This is normal, right? So there's nothing nefarious in any of that.
Of greater concern, he argues, is that Jamaica does not have an effective system to resolve the failure of investment institutions.
SSL has failed, right? And an investigation needs to happen. And we're actually innovating as to how we pay for it. It's not like if a bank fails, then you have JDIC, right? We have to now be innovating. So we have to be saying, okay, let's take some, the proceeds of crime. Maybe there's some funds there. The FSC itself had some funds that we could use to go towards that, but it is not integrated and formalized in the system.
It's time for a break. Stay with us. More stories when we return. Welcome back to the Midday News. It's the second week of the new academic year, and taxi operators and residents have taken to the streets in protest. The taxi operators say they are frustrated with the deplorable state of the roadway from Savlamar to Granger in Westmoreland. It's why they used old refrigerators and other debris to block the roadways this morning. They are now calling on their elected representatives to have the matter addressed with urgency.
I mean, we here out here from morning, and we don't hear nothing now. So we still going to go tomorrow morning again.
Yes,
again and again, and going on till we hear something and we see something. So we're out here and we're gonna do it. You understand? We need something. We need some justice. The road is in a terrible condition.
It's now time for the Business Minute.
Jamaica Broilers Group registered a 16% increase in profit in its first quarter ended July, despite a marginal drop in profit from local operations. The company's Jamaica operations brought in $1.7 billion, which was $130 million less than last year. JB says the decline was due to increased pressure from high levels of imports, which it says affected baby chick sales to small farmers. Looking at all segments after meeting tax obligations for the 3 months, the company made $1.2 billion compared to $1.1 billion for the corresponding period in 2022. Revenues improved by 2%. Further afield, Alibaba's stock lost more than 4% in Hong Kong on Monday after ex-CEO Daniel Zhang quit. His resignation comes 2 months after concentrating his focus on cloud computing, raising concerns over the unit's spin-off plan and possibility of discord at the top. New group CEO Eddie Wu will concurrently become acting CEO and chairman of a unit grappling with weak sales growth ahead of an initial public offering IPO set for next year. In June, Alibaba said Zhang would relinquish his group CEO role to focus on the cloud unit. The Cloud Intelligence Group, valued at $41 billion to $61 billion earlier this year, is among 5 units Alibaba is spinning off as part of the biggest restructuring of its 24-year history. And that's it for the Business Minute. I'm Prince Moore.
Now for the top regional story. In the region, an earthquake with a magnitude of 5.1 rocked several parts of Trinidad and Tobago on Sunday. But there were no immediate reports of injuries or damage. The SRC of the Augustine campus of the University of the West Indies, UWI, said that the earthquake occurred at 7:34 a.m. It said it was felt in the capital Port of Spain as well as northwest Arima and northwest of San Fernando in South Trinidad. And on the international scene, personal tributes and tears as Americans looked back Monday on 9/11's 22nd anniversary. People gathered at memorials, firehouses, city halls, campuses, and elsewhere to observe the deadliest terror attack on U.S. soil. And we head to a quick break. When we come back, we'll have your midday sports report with O'Shane Masters.